What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Far Cry 6 will be at E3 2021. And the answer, I think, is pretty darn simple. So it'll not only be, will it be at E3, but also what I want to see from it. Okay, I think we can kind of combine those two topics in, because when you look at Ubisoft's E3, and we know Ubisoft is going, in fact, a fun fact, we're about a month or so away, a little bit over a month away, but right now, Ubisoft is the only one, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're the only ones who have confirmed an actual date and time. We know the days that E3 are taking place on. We know which publishers are going, right? But we don't know which day and what time they're doing certain things. Ubisoft is the only one doing a Ubisoft Presents, I believe, on the 12th, on the first day of E3, on the Saturday. I think it's noon, and it could be noon Pacific, so maybe like 3 p.m. Eastern, or maybe it's noon Eastern, but it's sometime noon, depending, I guess, where you are in the world. It's at some point at noon. But I think, honestly, Far Cry 6 is the game. When you think about what Ubisoft could show there, last week I talked about Skull and Bones. I wanted to lead my E3 coverage, my pre-E3 coverage with Skull and Bones. It's a game that I really connect with, but it's a game that obviously has been in grave trouble for so long. But when you look at what Ubisoft can show, in reality, Far Cry is that big game. We talked about it with Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs. Assassin's Creed sure could be shown DLC, but you're not going to get a new Assassin's Creed game. You're not going to get a new Watch Dogs game. There's like Rainbow Six, you can do that. But in reality, Far Cry is the big, and yes, they could do Rayman, right? I know a lot of people have asked me to cover that. Beyond Good and Evil 2. There's definitely games out there, but in terms of what's coming out soon, what is big that is coming out soon, Far Cry is that game. Far Cry is absolutely that game. So to start this video, we'll kind of end part one of the video here by saying I fully believe Far Cry 6 is going to be there. I know the game was delayed. I know that it probably hasn't had the most smooth, development cycle that it's ever had before, right? So I get there's probably been some behind-the-scenes issues, but yet again, a lot of games have had behind-the-scenes issues over the last year. But I do think this is when we're going to see it again. I don't think we're going to see it like before E3, but I do think we see Far Cry 6 as kind of their headliner at E3. And then in terms of what we're going to see, well, I'll talk about that in just a second, but really quick, if you guys have not yet already, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you see when all of these videos go up. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Definitely helps the video out, definitely helps the channel out. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. Link for that is in the description below. And like I said, I'm going to be covering E3 loads. I've already done it over this last week. I've talked about quite a few different games that I think could be going to E3, and we're going to be doing a lot more of it over the coming weeks, okay? And then during Ubisoft's conference, we'll be covering that, all that good stuff, okay? So what could they show? Well, I think the most important thing, to be honest with you guys, is probably a release date. This game, probably they want to get this game out this year, okay? The game is obviously actually supposed to be out. Actually, wasn't it supposed to be out around right now? It was supposed to come out during this April, May period. So obviously that's long been delayed, long been pushed away. Actually, no, I think was it supposed to be March? It was definitely supposed to be out by now, but now it's not. And so I'm if this is the first time you guys are watching me, right? And I know there are a lot of new people that always kind of tune in for these videos. I'm not one that demands that the game comes out tomorrow. I'm not crying. I do have a closet, but I don't go in there to cry about things, and I'm not saying I want the game to come out tomorrow. I'm not demanding that the game comes out, or else we protest or stuff like that. No, none of that stuff. There's lots of reasons why games get delayed. I'm okay with them as long as the end product is better than what it was going to be, okay? So I'm not demanding anything or anything like that, but we know Ubisoft wants the game to get this game out this year. The game was already supposed to come out. I do think a pretty big push with this game is going to be, to show us the release date. And that goes into the debate of, is that a good idea? Do you give an actual date? Because if you give an actual date, if you say September 15th, and I don't know if that's even a Friday or a Tuesday, but let's just say it, September 15th. If you give that date, that's a very specific day, right? It literally is a specific date on the calendar. If you delay it, I think naturally it just looks bad. People get disappointed. People get upset. You look to really any game, Cyberpunk obviously being a recent example, but loads of games. If they give a date and that date is pushed, it doesn't look great, okay? If you say fall and then it's pushed, it doesn't look as bad, right? Because you kind of gave a big window. You can kind of infer that, they're shooting for the fall, but it may not hit the fall. So, that'll be a question for me. I think no matter what, we get some sort of release window. So not only do I believe the game's going, okay, but I do believe we're going to get at least a release window, if not a date. I could very easily see a date, but if they don't give a date, I feel like they could give us a release window and say, not necessarily a month. I think they'll just say fall 2021, or just fall. And then if it doesn't hit that would suck. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I'm very much looking for. I've talked about it before with Far Cry 6. I've always been interested in Far Cry, honestly, for as long as I can remember. This is just honesty, I've never been able to get into this franchise. I've played the last, 4 or 5 games. I think I've actually played since Far Cry 2. I've played every single game. I haven't beaten them all, but I've played them all, and I just can't get in for whatever reason. Those games are just, I know they're good. I know people like them. Obviously, some are better than others, but I can personally just never, enjoy them, and I don't know why. Far Cry 6, I know we've only gotten a CG trailer. We've gotten some really nice looking screenshots. I want this to be the game that I jump in and it's the first time that I play beginning to end that I absolutely love it. I want that from this game. So I'm fully in support of this game. So I really want it. So yeah, I'll be disappointed too if it doesn't come out this fall. I really will. But obviously you got to do what's best for the game. So I think we get a release date / release window. I think, honestly, with the game probably going to be headlining the Ubisoft show, it opens it up to kind of the double punch. So sometimes you can say, okay, well, will it get a trailer or will it get gameplay? I think it can get both. I think a game specifically like this game can get both, because it's going to be, like I said, it's the biggest thing that they have that's soon, okay? It's very high profile. It's not years and years away, but also it's literally a game that's in a position to do a lot of things, and it's really the only game they have in this spot where it's well, what, if they want to go for a smaller show, just a very compact show a couple trailers, get out, which, I mean, Ubisoft Presents have been like that in the past, they can certainly do that. But if they want it to be a big time thing, they could easily do a trailer and then spend 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes in their game. I mean, it's been done before, and I really don't think it would be a bad thing. You know what I mean? This is a game that a lot of people are anticipating, but we don't know, again, the game was supposed to already be out, but even if it wasn't already supposed to be, let's pretend it comes out this fall. It's only a couple months away. We still haven't seen anything. And it's not the most uncommon thing. There are loads of games that have been announced and they're released 3, 4, 5 months later. So it's not like it's never happened before. But just for a game that we have a trailer, we have screenshots. So the game is probably playable in some state. We don't really know how the game is going to look. A lot of the kind of behind the scenes, or how the game itself is going to play, the mechanisms, the systems of the game. We don't really know that. So I think having a 10-minute presentation would be a really good way of showing us it. So that's personally what I hope for, but it's also honestly what I think. I would say when they start doing it, and we won't really know until they do it, or maybe they'll say it's going to be a 45-minute show. If it's a longer show and you can kind of tell oh, they're taking their time and they're kind of showing off different games, I think we're going to get a pretty big gameplay section of Far Cry, and that'll be the big thing at Ubisoft's thing, and that'll be obviously very big for Far Cry. But that's what I think. If it's a smaller show, I think probably trailer and then release date, and then again, if it's big, you could do gameplay and trailer, you could just do gameplay. But again, I really do think they attach that release date or release window with it. They really don't have anything in regards to the fall. So I really think they want to get this game out there in October or November. I think that's what they're going to shoot for, and obviously we'll have to see. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think it'll be there? What do you think they'll show? Do you think it'll have a release date? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Again, bell icon turned on. Hit the like button. Definitely helps these videos out. And again, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. Link for it is in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.